You shall have no other gods before me. This is the first commandment, and it's placed first for a reason. Not just because it's one rule among many, but because everything else flows out of this one. You shall have no other gods before me. It sounds straightforward, almost too simple. But when you slow down and sit with it, it starts to press a little deeper. Because most of us aren't walking around bowing down to carved statues or setting up altars in our living rooms. So it's easy to hear this and think, yeah, I'm good on that one. But this isn't really about statues. It's about what sits in the center, what holds your attention, your trust, your dependence, what you look to for security, for identity, for meaning. That's where this commandment starts to get real. It's like riding a bike and thinking you're in control because your hands are on the handlebars, but you're not paying attention to where you're actually looking. Where you look determines where you go. You can't say you're headed one direction, but if your focus is somewhere else, your path will quietly drift that way instead. And a lot of the time, we don't even notice it happening. We can say God is first, but our peace depends more on our circumstances. We can say we trust Him, but our decisions are driven by fear or approval. We can say He's enough, but we're constantly reaching for something else to feel secure. That's what this commandment is addressing. Not just what you say you believe, but what actually functions as God in your life. Because anything can take that place if you let it. Success can, comfort can, other people can. Even your own plans for your life can quietly move into that spot. And the thing about those other gods is they don't announce themselves. They don't show up and say, "Hey, I'm replacing God now." They just slowly take up more space, more of your attention, more of your emotional weight, more of your decision making. Until one day you realize something else is steering. And this commandment is God right at the beginning saying, don't let anything take that place. Not because He's insecure, but because nothing else can carry the weight of that role. If you put your ultimate trust in something that can shift, fail, or disappear, it's going to shake you when it does. But God doesn't shift. He doesn't lose control. He doesn't become unreliable halfway through your life. So this isn't just a command. It's protection. It's God anchoring you to the only thing that's actually stable. And in everyday life, this doesn't usually show up in big dramatic ways. It's quieter than that. It shows up in what your mind runs to when things get hard. It shows up in what you feel like you need in order to be okay. It shows up in what you prioritize without even thinking about it. And the invitation here isn't to overanalyze everything or become paranoid about your motives. It's just to be honest. To pause every now and then and ask, what's really sitting in that top spot right now? And if something else has drifted in there, you don't have to panic. You just realign, like gently correcting your direction when you realize your bike has started to veer off course. You don't crash. You don't start over. You just adjust, repent, and change your direction. You shall have no other gods before me. It's simple, but if you actually live it, it changes everything that comes after. Halfway through that work week. Glad to have you here, folks. I hope everyone's having a beautiful, blessed, and productive week thus far. And I hope to see you here tomorrow. Until then, Abba willing, shalom, shalom.